welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. Well, here's a very interesting report introduced and launched by Max Life Insurance. It's their India Protection Quotient 3.0 survey. And well, lots of positives. India has become more aware of life insurance. Urban India is in fact prioritizing savings and investments, cutting down on luxury expenses, even to some extent by basic expenses as well. Urban Indians are shifting towards the true value of life insurance, are prioritizing on cover. Millennials are warming up to the idea of buying a life insurance with a 6% jump in ownership compared to last year. And even women now are more or less at par. The urban Indian working woman is at par when it comes to life insurance awareness and protection. There are some negatives as well, but let's discuss all of the findings of this report. I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Prashant Tripathy, the MD and CEO of Max Life Insurance. Thank you so much, Mr. Tripathy, for joining us today on ET Now. To start with, this is, I think, the third survey that you have conducted. So tell us that in a year that was marred, of course, by a health crisis, what was different in Indians' attitude towards getting a life insurance, a life cover for themselves, the highlights of the report?
Movina, thank you very much for the opportunity to come and speak to you. Why don't I summarize a few points and then we could, delve deeper into each one of them. So at a very summary level, India's protection quotient improves from pre-COVID times. So when we saw it last year, it was 35. Now it has gone up to 39. So there is 4-point improvement there. India has become more aware. So awareness quotient has gone up by about 9 points. Ownership has gone up by 5 points. But at this point of time, because of higher risk of COVID, attitudinally speaking, people are feeling less secured. It's a very subtle point. The people are feeling less secured, but they are more aware, they are buying more, and the overall protection quotient has gone up. That's point number one. Urban India is prioritizing more towards savings and investments as against their basic expenses and luxury expenses. We have found that the basic expenses have also gone down because maybe people are not traveling out or not eating out, etc. And more and more money is going towards savings and investment. And within that, what we are finding is people are trying to save for adversities that could be caused because of COVID, which is more about health, which is more around a need for protection. And this entire kids segment, which is kids education, kids marriage, while it continues to figure very high, we have seen a reduction from last time. So
All right, that's interesting. Mr. Tripathy, what I found also interesting is that a majority of Indians believe their cover is not adequate. So how do you determine what a sufficient cover is for oneself? What do you recommend people keep in their mind when deciding this?
So there's a big rule that we apply, and that rule is between 7 to 10 times of your yearly income. That's the rule that we apply while making the determination on how much protection do you need. And it's very simple. We do ask these questions of people saying, once something were to happen to the breadwinner, how long can the family sustain on the savings that exist or the coverage that the family has got? You can't believe very large proportion feel that they won't be able to survive within after 6 months also. So really, a family must look for at least 7 to 10 times of the annual income as the coverage. And while many people have bought term, what happens is either people end up buying less because they don't apply this formula, or people move on in life. So, all of us, our expenses, our the way we live used to be very different maybe 10 years ago. So a protection plan bought 10 years ago may not be as robust as it may be required at this point of time. And that's why you notice that even if people own term plan, last year about 53% people felt that it was insufficient. Now that number has gone to 59%, which means the need for term, even in the people who are owning term plan, continues to remain very, very high.
You know, you had a note on critical illness riders as well. How crucial is that component in life insurance?
The critical illness rider penetration, which means how many people who are buying term are also buying critical illness rider along with that. Last year, that number was 11%, which means roughly 1 in 10 people who are buying term plan were also buying critical illness rider along with it. This year, we have found that number to go up to 26%, because which means that 1 in 4 term buyer is also buying a critical illness rider, and that has happened absolutely for the reason that you mentioned, Mubina. The situation got worsened. All of us, we saw close acquaintances, close families being hit by COVID, and when that happens, the level of awareness actually sees a spurt. So people are more and more sensitive to the possibility of something of this kind happening. We also found some of the reasons of term, buying term plan reasons. The reason used to be, people will talk about premium, people will talk about protection, but the view around death, which could become a reality, was not that high on the reasons why people were buying term plan. Now it has gone up on the reason where more and more people feel that death may become a reality, and hence there's a propensity to buy term plan. So absolutely, to your point, critical illness rider is finding favor, being driven by the current circumstances and the level of awareness and understanding towards protection. Death of breadwinner has become quite a relevant decision-making criteria.
All right. To wrap it up, Mr. Tripathy, why do you think it's important for everyone to have life cover, especially those who may not be married, may not be having a family, because those are the ones who are the most skittish about buying insurance cover? And, do you think that, this is a necessity even beyond COVID times?
Absolutely. Single people can't assume that, people are not dependent on them. They may have parents, which may not be dependent at this point in time, but may become dependent at some stage. Things may change from where their situation is. So insurance is important for everybody. Single people may feel that that life insurance may not be very relevant, but other forms of insurance, buying a critical illness, may be very, very relevant. Morbidity insurances, health insurances may be very, very relevant, because if they don't cover themselves, a large part of their saving actually could go in that one. So insurance and life insurance, everything is very relevant for all categories of people, because the situations change. We found 2 categories, like I mentioned to you, Mubina. We went and talked to millennials, and millennials are young people. Many of them are unmarried also. The good part is we have seen propensity amongst millennial workforce actually to buy more and more insurance. And especially for term plans, we found the knowledge as well as ownership to catch up very, very quickly with non-millennials. Really a great thing to happen. Also in working women, and I won't necessarily say working women are single, but working women understood the importance of insurance really well, and we have seen a spurt in their ownership as well as their knowledge also. So step in the right direction, but you are right, we have a long way to go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tripathy, for joining us today on ET Now, and I hope that all the advice that you have given, really stays with all of our youngsters as well when it comes to the importance of a life insurance cover. All right, well, we'll take a very short break, but when we return on our Spend with TMS segment, we will be joined by Ajay Avtane of Live from a Lounge, this to talk about the latest on Indian aviation. What are flight prices like and airfares like now, especially after we've seen a deep discount given by Vistara, Indigo, SpiceJet, and how are international fare prices faring? Stay tuned.